Let me start with the truth most people will never say out loud. Every man has secret desires when it comes to intimacy, fantasies he may never voice, things he hopes you'll know without him having to spell them out. And when it comes to oral, this is where those unspoken wishes are loudest. Oral is one of those acts that's not just about pleasure, it's about ego, trust, vulnerability, and feeling completely desired. And if you've ever wondered how to blow his mind in a way he'll never forget, then listen closely, because I'm about to share 5 secret oral tips that he desperately wishes you knew, but would never have the courage to say. And here's why this matters. When you understand these secrets, you step into a place of power, not manipulative power, the power of confidence, the power of knowing that you're not just doing something to him, you're giving him an experience that makes him feel seen, appreciated, and deeply wanted. That's intimacy at its highest level, because oral is not about technique alone. It's about psychology. It's about what's happening in his mind while your body connects with his. Let's start with secret by when enthusiasm is everything. Every man wants to feel like you want to do it, not like it's a chore, not like you're tolerating it, but like you're turned on by turning him on. Men are deeply tuned into energy. If he senses hesitation, disinterest, or that you're just getting it over with, it instantly kills the intimacy. But when he feels your enthusiasm, your genuine enjoyment of pleasuring him, suddenly it's not just about physical release. It becomes emotional validation. Think of it like this: oral is one of the most vulnerable experiences for a man. He's exposing himself completely to you, putting himself in your hands, literally and figuratively. Your attitude in that moment sends him a clear message. You're safe with me. I want this. I want you. That reassurance flips a switch in his brain. He stops thinking and starts surrendering. He trusts you, and that trust makes the experience 10 times more powerful. So how do you show enthusiasm? It's not about being over the top or faking it. It's about small signals, your eye contact, the way you smile when you tease him, the little noises of enjoyment you make as you touch him. Men don't just respond to sensation, they respond to affirmation. A look, a sound, a subtle squeeze of your hand that says, I love this, I love you, and I'm not going anywhere. That's what makes him lose control. And here's the secret most women don't realize for men. Oral isn't just about how it feels physically, it's about the emotional story playing in his head while it happens. When you show him you're enthusiastic, you're telling him he's desirable. You're telling him he's sexy, powerful, and wanted. And when he believes that, the physical pleasure skyrockets. Now let's go even deeper, because enthusiasm leads us naturally into secret twos and tease before you please. One of the biggest mistakes people make in intimacy is rushing. They go straight to the goal. But here's the thing about men: they crave anticipation just as much as women do. That build-up, that sense of tension before the release, is what makes the actual act unforgettable. Think of it like stretching a rubber band. The longer you pull it back, the more explosive it feels when you finally let it snap. So how do you tease? It can be as simple as taking your time. Start slow, explore with your hands, your lips, your tongue, without immediately giving him everything. Breathe near him, kiss around his most sensitive spots, let him ache for the next move. This teasing isn't just physical, it's psychological. You're showing him that you're in control, that he can't predict your every move, and that he has to surrender to your pace. That power dynamic alone heightens his arousal. And don't underestimate the power of words during teasing. Whispering in his ear, telling him how hard he is, or how much you want him but aren't giving it yet. That kind of dirty talk isn't just hot, it's a mind game. You're amplifying his desire by feeding his imagination. Suddenly, he's not just experiencing pleasure, he's trapped in a loop of anticipation and craving that makes every second feel electric. Here's why teasing matters. When you delay gratification, you're teaching him that intimacy isn't about racing to the finish line. It's about savoring every moment. And men secretly crave this because it gives them permission to let go of control. In every other area of life, they're expected to be decisive, strong, and in charge. But in the bedroom, teasing flips the script. You're in control, you're guiding him, and that surrender is intoxicating. So when he finally gets what he's been aching for, the intensity is doubled, tripled, multiplied beyond what a rushed experience could ever deliver. And here's the part most people miss. Teasing doesn't frustrate men, it makes them obsessed. Because the memory of being denied, delayed, and then rewarded lingers in his brain long after the moment is over. He'll replay it, fantasize about it, crave it again, and that craving. That's how you become unforgettable. So as we close this first part, remember, oral at its core is not about technique alone. It's about energy, emotion, and psychology. Secret Find 1 was about enthusiasm, because showing him you want to be there makes him feel desired in a way that penetrates deeper than touch. Secret Fate 2 was about teasing, because anticipation turns ordinary moments into unforgettable ones. But that's just the beginning. In the next part, we'll go into the subtler secrets, things he may never voice, but that will completely transform the way he experiences intimacy with you. And trust me, once you understand these, you'll never see oral the same way again. So now that we've set the stage with enthusiasm and teasing, let's move into the next layer of secrets that most men wish you knew but will never say out loud. These next two aren't just about what you do, they're about how you make him feel. And if you can master these, you'll step into a realm of intimacy that makes him not just physically satisfied, but emotionally addicted to you. Let's begin with Secret Feint 3. Variety is the language of pleasure. Here's the truth: repetition kills excitement. Even the most pleasurable act can become predictable if it feels mechanical. What men secretly crave during oral is not perfection, it's surprise. It's the unexpected change of rhythm, the sudden switch of pressure, the alternating patterns that keep his mind guessing and his body begging for more. Think of it like a great song. If every note were the same, if there were no build up, no drops, no change in melody, it would be boring within seconds. What makes music unforgettable is the rhythm, the highs and lows, the unexpected turns. Oral works exactly the same way. And here's the kicker: most men won't tell you this because they don't want to sound demanding or ungrateful. But what they secretly wish is that you would experiment, that you'd play with your pace, sometimes slow, sometimes fast, that you'd switch between soft, gentle touches and deeper, more intense ones, that you'd combine your hands and your mouth, change your angle, surprise him with new sensations he didn't see coming. Why does variety matter so much? Because it keeps his brain engaged. See, arousal is not just physical, it's neurological. When something feels repetitive, his brain adapts and the intensity starts to dull. But when you change things up, you trick his brain into staying hyper-focused. Every new sensation feels fresh, and every shift makes him think, what's coming next? That curiosity amplifies his arousal. And here's a deeper truth: variety isn't just about keeping him guessing, it's about communicating presence. When you switch things up, you're showing him that you're in the moment with him, that you're attentive to his reactions, that you're not following a script, but actually exploring him. That's what makes it personal. That's what makes him feel like this isn't just oral, it's intimacy designed uniquely for him. So don't be afraid to experiment, combine movements, use pauses, mix in little surprises, a kiss here, a gentle scratch there, a moment of eye contact that sends shivers down his spine. Show him that you're not just performing, you're creating. And when he feels that creativity, he won't just feel turned on, he'll feel chosen. Now let's move to Secret 5-4. Eye contact is the silent seducer. This is the one most people overlook, but it's also one of the most powerful. Because all isn't just physical, it's deeply psychological, and nothing penetrates the male psyche faster than eye contact. Think about it. Eye contact is intimacy stripped bare. It says, I see you, I'm here with you, I want this. And for a man, in the middle of receiving pleasure, that look of connection creates an explosion of desire he can't explain. Why? Because in that moment, he's not just being touched, he's being seen. When you look at him while you're pleasuring him, you're doing something so few people are brave enough to do. You're merging physical intimacy with emotional intimacy. And that combination, that's nuclear. Here's the psychology behind it. Most men grow up associating sex with performance. They worry about how they look, how long they last, whether they're enough. Deep down, they fear being judged. Eye contact during oral flips that script. It tells him, I'm not just okay with this, I'm turned on by you. I'm choosing this, I'm choosing you. That reassurance dismantles his fears and replaces them with confidence. But there's another layer to this. Eye contact creates vulnerability. You're holding his gaze while he's in one of the most exposed, unguarded states of his life. That intensity builds trust. It's raw, it's primal, and it forges a bond that lingers long after the physical moment ends. Now, I know some people feel shy about eye contact during oral, and that's okay. You don't have to stare the whole time. The magic is in the moments, that brief glance upward, that little smirk as your eyes meet his, that playful pause where you hold his gaze just long enough for him to feel the jolt of connection. Those are the sparks that ignite fireworks in his body and his mind. And here's what most women don't realize: for men, that one look can become a permanent memory. Long after the act is over, he'll replay that moment in his mind. The image of you looking up at him with desire in your eyes, that memory becomes his fantasy fuel, the thing that makes him crave you over anyone else. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine being on a stage performing to an audience. You might get applause, you might get cheers, but if one person in that crowd locks eyes with you, suddenly the whole performance feels personal. That's what eye contact during oral does for a man. It takes an experience that could feel physical and turns it into something unforgettable. So to recap so far, Secret Find 1 was about enthusiasm, showing him you want it. Secret Fate 2 was about teasing, building anticipation. Secret Fate 3 was about variety, keeping his body and mind guessing. Secret Fate 4 was about eye contact, turning physical into emotional intimacy. Now, you might already be realizing something. None of these secrets are purely about technique. They're about psychology. They're about emotion, because oral is not just an act, it's a story. And you're the storyteller. The way you look at him, the way you shift your rhythm, the way you tease him before rewarding him, all of these things craft a narrative in his mind, a narrative of being wanted, chosen, desired, and safe. And here's the best part: when you give a man that experience, you're not just giving him pleasure, you're giving him something far more valuable, the feeling of being understood, and that's what makes you unforgettable. But we're not done yet, because in the final secret, I'm going to share the one element that ties everything together. The key that not only makes oral mind-blowing, but also makes it deeply bonding. The final secret isn't just about how he feels in the moment, it's about how he feels about you long after. And when you understand that, you'll hold the kind of power most women never tap into, the power to make him crave not just the act, but you. We've come a long way together through enthusiasm, teasing, variety, and eye contact. Each one of those secrets is powerful on its own, but when you weave them together, you create an experience that no man forgets. And now we've arrived at the final piece, the secret that ties everything together, the one most men dream about, but are often too shy, too vulnerable, or too afraid to admit out loud. Secret Quite 5 Light, affirm him, make him feel like a king. Here's the truth: for a man, oral pleasure is about more than just sensation. It's about validation. It's about feeling chosen, celebrated, and adored in a way that very few experiences in life can provide. Men may not say it, but what they crave in those moments is affirmation. They want to feel like you're not just doing something to please them. They want to feel like they themselves are worthy of being pleased. And this isn't about inflating his ego. It's about feeding his deepest need to feel enough. Because here's something I'll tell you that few people ever admit: most men, even the confident ones, carry insecurities into the bedroom. They worry about their size. They worry about their performance. They worry about whether they're truly desired. And oral is one of the most vulnerable acts they can experience, which means your words, your reactions, your affirmation in that moment can either ease every insecurity or magnify it. So how do you affirm him? With your words, with your sounds, with your energy? Whispering things like, "You feel so good," or "I love pleasing you," or even just moaning in response to his body. These affirmations don't just stroke his ego, they stroke his soul. They tell him he's enough. They tell him he's wanted. And when he believes that, he surrenders to you completely. But affirmation goes deeper than words. It's also in the way you react, the way you reach up and grab his hand, the way you hold him close after, the way you look at him with desire instead of obligation. These little signals reinforce something powerful. You're not just performing, you're enjoying him. And here's the magic: when a man feels affirmed, when he feels celebrated, he doesn't just feel turned on, he feels bonded, he feels grateful, he feels loyal. He associates that experience with you, not just physically, but emotionally. And that's how oral becomes more than just a physical act. It becomes a memory that cements intimacy. Now, think about this. If you combine all 5 secrets: enthusiasm, showing him you love it; teasing, building unbearable anticipation; variety, keeping his body and mind guessing; eye contact, forging an unshakable bond; affirmation, making him feel like a king. What you've created isn't just good oral, it's an experience. It's a story he will replay in his mind, a memory that separates you from anyone else he's ever been with, because you've touched him not just physically, but emotionally. And that's the real secret most people never talk about. Oral pleasure is not about the mouth. It's about the mind. It's about the heart. The body is just the instrument. You are the musician. The act is just the canvas. You are the artist. And when you bring presence, creativity, and affirmation into that space, you don't just give him pleasure. You give him something to worship. Now let me say this because it matters. None of this works if it's fake. A man knows when you're performing versus when you're present. True intimacy doesn't come from technique alone. It comes from authenticity. It comes from you stepping into your own power, your own sensuality, and saying, I choose this, I choose you. That's what makes it irresistible. Because ultimately, men don't just want someone who can please them. They want someone who wants to. That's the difference between an act he forgets in days and a memory that stays with him for life. So let me leave you with this. When you next find yourself in that intimate moment, don't think of oral as a performance. Think of it as a gift. Think of it as a conversation between two souls where every look, every touch, every whisper is a way of saying, you matter to me. I see you. I want you. Because when you approach it that way, you'll unlock not just his body, but his heart. And that, more than anything else, is what makes you unforgettable. At the end of the day, intimacy isn't about tricks and isn't about gimmicks, and it isn't about living up to some unrealistic expectation. It's about connection. The 5 secrets I shared with you today are not about turning you into someone you're not. They're about showing you the shortcuts into a man's deepest desires, the desires he often won't even admit to himself. But here's the challenge. Are you willing to bring presence into your intimacy? Are you willing to slow down, to experiment, to be playful, to be bold enough to look him in the eye and let him see just how much you enjoy him? If you are, then you won't just be giving him pleasure. You'll be giving him peace, affirmation, and a memory that will forever tie him to you. And remember this. When you make a man feel safe, desired, and celebrated in the bedroom, you unlock parts of him that the world never gets to see. You get his softness, his vulnerability, his truth. That's the real treasure. That's the reward for daring to connect at the deepest level. And if this spoke to you today, don't just let it pass you by. Take this as your sign to keep investing in yourself, in your love life, and in the kind of intimacy that actually lasts. Because here's the truth. Most people go their whole lives never learning how to connect deeply, never understanding what their partner truly craves, never unlocking that next level of intimacy that changes everything. But you don't have to be most people. You can choose to live differently. You can choose to build the kind of relationship that's not only passionate, but safe, magnetic, and unforgettable. So if that's the kind of love you want, then make this your moment. Hit subscribe right now. Don't wait. Don't think, I'll come back later. Do it today, because every video we share is another step toward creating the love life you deserve. Turn on the bell so you don't miss the next secret. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway. I want to hear your voice, and share this video with someone you care about, someone who needs this wisdom just as much as you do, because this isn't just about better intimacy, it's about building extraordinary relationships. And extraordinary relationships don't just happen, they're created. Let's create yours together.